Hey, this is Stephanie Shea, and you're listening to Gundam at MAHQ.
Who shot you in the ass?
Who? That who would be you.
Me? I shot you?
Yeah.
I mean, I was shooting. Yeah, I did a lot of shooting. I mean, but I ain't saying I shot you in the ass. I mean, I ain't saying I didn't shoot you. But damn! Somebody shot you in the ass.
Tell me about it.
Everyone, welcome back to Gundam at MAHQ. This is episode 305. I am one of your hosts, Chris, and Neo has fallen into Discord hell. But for now, say hello, Soulbro.
Hey, what's happening, guys?
So, Soulbro, this is the last episode of the year.
Yes, it is.
The holidays.
Me, just for me, I'm looking forward to it. Unfortunately, I'm still unemployed, so it's gonna be a pretty lean holiday. But I'm looking forward to the gatherings at least. There's that, and looking forward to a better year than this year. I'll tell you that much.
Hello.
Hey, there he is.
All right, Neo's
live.
back. We're live. So turn it over to you.
Hold on. Discord's like going crazy on me. So hold on.
All right. Hopefully my voice isn't
And
echoing
there he
back.
goes.
There he goes, man. Holy shit. And my voice is not echoing in your ear, is it?
No.
Okay, good. Just want to make sure. we
And
ran into
you're
some
not-
problems
and you're not
last
muted.
episode, and I'm not muted, right? That's fucking crazy. Who knew? But Neil will overcome his issues, and we'll have him back in here. But yeah, it's been an interesting
Hello?
year. Hey, there he is.
Okay. Yeah. No, I don't know what's going on. While I was waiting, Discord shut down on me.
Oh shit. Well, hey.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on. So okay. It's so interesting.
But yeah, man, you can tell them what the episode's about, man. Welcome.
Welcome. Yes, it's episode 305, which is appropriate because it means Chris is back, right?
Hell yeah,
Welcome back,
the
Chris.
305, baby.
I don't live in the 305 anymore, though.
Oh shit.
I haven't for almost a decade.
You don't. You don't, but
I mean,
you
I
know
still have a
that's
305
your
area code
roots.
on my numbers, but 305.
That's
for
your
life.
roots. It's your roots, man. It's your roots. The 305 will never
It's
leave
your roots
you.
too.
No, I was
It
not.
would've been-
No,
it would've-
I was not born in 305. I was born in
Oh.
what is now. Well, actually, I think at the time it was 305, but now it's 945. I was born in Power General.
It would have been
That-
better 2 episodes ago when y'all did Bad Boys.
Yes, it would have been right.
Exactly.
We
Yeah,
said that
we-
exact shit in that episode. It's like, yo, what? Why is this 303? we were mad that we were
Exactly.
2 episodes off, man. It's like, damn it, we're so close. But yeah,
So what?
go ahead.
Welcome back, Chris. Episode 305. Welcome back from your exploits in Japan. I didn't see any things any things in the news about any diplomatic breakdowns. So I guess everything was cool there that you were there. They didn't say, "Oh, you steal all the line art from us to put on your website. You must die."
The thought did cross my mind.
Oh shit!
But they were more concerned with the fact that this
That you had a
dumbass
cease and
fucking-
desist.
Yeah, no, there was this dumbass American who carved his name into a torii gate in Tokyo,
Oh, wow.
and yeah, it's like a whole big thing over there. And like, man, why you got to make all this guy just look bad?
I know, right, man?
Exactly.
And it definitely does, man. It just makes him look less forward to any kind of visitors to the country because they all think we're gonna wild out and act stupid. There's all these like influencers that go over there and act the fool and then get locked up or get booted out the country permanently. But then the rest of us try to go there, and I mean, American soldiers have been doing it for a while, but but I mean, still, I would imagine that people would go there with their P's and Q's intact, and instead they act foolish. So
Have you met Americans?
Yeah,
Like,
I'm well
you're
aware
saying
of
that they
America's
would
reputation.
understand
Well,
stuff.
yeah.
I mean,
Chinese tourists are almost as reviled though, so
Oh.
we're not the only game in town anymore.
Ooh, I had no idea there.
cool,
Damn.
cool. Yeah, they could get blamed too. I mean, it's like
Yeah, spread
Yeah,
the love
I mean-
around.
exactly. I mean, this idea that America's superior. It's like, have you seen what we did in November? I mean, really? We're come on.
Touche.
But
Touche.
well, that's good. We're glad you came back, Chris. We were worried. We're like, oh my gosh, he's gonna get arrested for having all that line art. And we know you are from MAHQ. you stole stuff from the Ball Kai in like some archaic Shojin Jump back in the day or something like that. So, but no, cool. So yeah, was it everything you wished it to be? Did you have fun?
It was. There's so much culture to absorb, visiting all these different shrines
Culture.
and historical sites.
You
Culture.
think only the
Tokyo
US
has
has
the best
got the best culture?
Yes.
You're a shit.
Yes.
The food is it's the best fucking food in the world. Like
Man,
no
Are you serious?
competition.
I want to ask
Wait,
you.
wait.
Did you
no,
go? Did you go to?
No, there's competition, dude. France. I'm sorry.
Oh, hold on. Did you go to like the mom and pop shops, like the udon seller
Yes.
on the side of the road? Fuck yes. That's exactly what I would do every
Okay,
fucking day.
I'll tell you what though, Neo. There are more Michelin-rated restaurants in Japan than in France. So there you
Yeah,
go.
Take that, Gordon Ramsay.
I could get you. I could get you on that. Yeah,
Ooh.
I get you on that. But oh man, French food's so good. But okay, no, that's cool. I'm interested.
It's
So,
best
but-
food. Everybody is so friendly. As is the case in a lot of countries, if you try to make an effort to speak their language and be respectful, they will
They appreciate that.
try their best to help you.
Absolutely.
Nobody was rude to us. Pop culture stuff is like all over the place. It really is surprising. Everywhere you go, it's see One Piece, Dragon Ball,
Yeah.
My Hero, Demon Slayer. Like it's just all over the damn place.
Don the Don.
And one of the most amusing things, though, that I just did not expect is every kombini has a little manga shelf with various tankobon volumes, and you see One Piece there. You see you see all these popular manga.
Mhm.
But at every chain, in every city, I saw multiple volumes for sale of Go-Go 13 at
Yes.
these kombinis.
Yes. He still got
Really?
it, y'all. He still got it. Duke, let's go. That's my man.
So there you go, Duke Togo.
Duke.
That death stare, whether he's killing you or giving you the lay of your life.
Yo, they know what time it is. Good shit. Yo, not Dalo, but shout out to Robin over on Twitch. He asks, did you go into any arcades or how many arcades did you seek out? I know that wasn't your main goal to go, but they have less arcades there now, Robin, than they ever had, unfortunately, just to let you know. But were there any like major ones that you saw, like any Neo Geo Worlds or Lands or anything like that?
Didn't go into that. Did go into Ego in Kabukicho,
Yeah.
which they took over some of the old Sega arcades, and those are
Yep.
multi-floor endeavors,
Ooh.
of which at least 2 stories of that facility is just UFO catchers.
Fuck yes. Oh my god. I
What
know
about pachinko? You had to play pachinko, right?
I did not play pachinko because I didn't want to go into some stank ass cigarette infested
Yes.
place with a bunch of old ladies.
No fucking doubt.
Come on, man.
Yeah, so in the Ego,
That's a true Japanese experience. Come on.
yeah, they
You
had arcade games. I spotted a lot of Gundam Extreme Versus 2 at
nice.
these arcades. And one floor, this was common too. The top floor was all photo booths,
Ooh.
and I went also to
Yeah.
a Gigo in Osaka, and this is nuts. They actually have like beauty stations for the women next to the photo booths with like
Oh.
mirrors and with like hair curlers and blow dryers, so you can like get yourself exactly
they
how
have
you
it
want
here.
to be before you do the photo booth.
Wow. Well,
Yeah, no,
that
that's
makes
a big
sense.
thing out. No, that's a big thing here in California right now. There's these photo things that come up, and it's exactly what he's talking about. A lot of them are more, I think they're more like Korean inspired, but it's same type of thing where it's like people will actually go in, and it's the whole thing of the night is them taking pictures, and they will just sit there off to the side getting made up at the same time. It's crazy.
That's so
Yeah.
wild.
Yahtzee
Yeah.
asked if I ran into Majima. I, in fact, did not. So he was not indeed everywhere. But I did, run around Dotonbori and Kabukicho. So I did make my Yakuza pilgrimage.
How about Akihabara? Did you go there and visit any of the electronic stores or what is it? The video game stores that are over there, like Super Potato.
Yeah, Akiba's not what we saw
Think
it,
it is.
in the 80s and 90s. Like it's
Oh.
become like very heavily commercialized. Lots of maid cafes, lots of like just very commercialized, like the mom and pop electronics. Like that's kind of faded
Oh.
away. Akiba's not really that place.
I mean, Akihabara. I apologize. Akihabara.
But Akiba for short.
Oh, okay. My bad.
I
I'm sorry.
did go though to and thanks to longtime listener Snoops, I did
Mhm.
go to Nakano Broadway, which has
Ooh.
tons and tons of used stores full of stuff. And
Nice.
that mall is full of stores run by Mandarake.
Yeah.
So there's just lots of cool stuff.
Yeah.
The very first store that I walked into, in the window, they had a bunch of old school Legend of the Galactic Hero shit. And it's like,
Oh, wow.
Yo,
this
son.
is a cool place.
No, so it's like one of those multi-level department stores that have like because I see walkthroughs of them all the time. I'm not sure if that's the same thing you're talking about or not, but
This is it's a shopping center with a bunch of different stores, but it was multi-level in that there were basement levels and like 3 or 4 levels above ground,
wow.
just full of different stores, full of
Yeah.
used shit. There was a Gundam store, which of course I went into and I bought shit. There was a Kamen Rider store, just tons and tons of stuff out there.
Going back to
How was
Snoop,
how was the prices on the Gundam stuff?
The prices are fine. Right now the yen is pretty weak to the dollar, so
Yeah.
everything is a lot cheaper, which is why there's so many tourists over there from a lot of countries, because the yen is weak against all these other currencies, so they're taking advantage of doing a trip.
yeah,
Yeah, and
you
then you get the duty free and stuff. That's even better too. So.
you had mentioned Snoops earlier. Did you get to meet up with anybody that you've conversed with on MHQ or listeners of the show while you were over there?
No, I was with friends and we had a very packed itinerary. So
No, that makes sense, and that's perfectly fine. I wasn't sure if they came looking for you or anything like that, but man,
yeah, they tracked me down. They're like,
hey man,
"You,
bitch.
you gave this show 3 stars, you motherfucker."
Yo, Tomino
So
hunted you down personally.
So quick question on this then, Chris. Is it
Yes.
everything you thought it would be, and were you ever disappointed on, like, is it Was there parts of it that you're like, oh, I thought this would have been cooler? Like,
No,
no.
nothing that was disappointing. The food exceeded my expectations,
Yes.
which were already pretty high.
Hell yeah.
So, public transportation, of course, is beyond anything that you see anywhere else, and just made me mad at America the entire time that I was
Yes!
riding either the subway or the Shinkansen.
I knew it would.
But the same thing happens whenever I go to Europe, so it's a familiar feeling.
Yeah. Way ahead of us on that shit, for real.
Mm-hmm.
Man, amazing, man. I'm so glad you got to go, man. You got to live the dream and enjoy Japan for what it was, and just see the sights, man. So cool.
Of
And
course, I saw the Unicorn Gundam.
Yes. I was gonna say, if you went to that's at Odaiba, right?
Yes.
Nice. Man, well done. Man, I am jelly. My brother gets to go. My brother works for Amazon Studios, and he gets to go over there sometimes twice a year to meet up at their offices. So he comes back with lots of stories too, and it's just like another world sometimes when going over there. And I'm glad you got to go and regale us with some of your tales. And I know that you put up a lot of pictures on Instagram, right?
Yes.
Gotcha. So is it C Guanche on Instagram?
Yes.
Gotcha. So if you guys already follow Chris on Instagram, you guys can check out those pictures at your leisure. And if anything, any other tidbits that you have from when you were there or anything like that?
I would say, if it's something that you have considered going to, go before our economy is ruined and the dollar crashes. And I would say to anyone, prepare yourself for lots of physical activity. You're going to be walking a lot. So, plan accordingly.
So is there anything that you would say that like you have to do, or anything that like that stood out? Like,
I would say take day trips outside of the major cities and, get the experience of being in these smaller cities and towns and seeing some of the history there. We took a day trip out of Osaka to Nara, which is a city that is full of wild roaming deer.
Oh,
and
wow.
You can buy deer crackers to feed them. And these deer, they're just there on the street walking around. Like, these are not tamed animals or pets, but they will come up to you and bow.
whoa!
Wow. Are you serious?
Yeah, they just do this. Yes, they will come up to you and bow their heads, because they want the crackers that you're going to feed them.
Oh, wow!
Yes, so they have trained themselves to do this. Nobody has trained them to do this. They just do this on their own. They will come up to you and bow their heads. Then you give them the tasty crackers, and some of them get kind of spicy because right now in the fall is the mating season, so the males are horny and hungry and aggressive, and the ones who have antlers are really aggressive. And one of them got mad that I stopped feeding him to go feed another, and he poked me in the butt with his antlers.
Yo, man,
my God.
animals are effing you up over there.
That was not a pleasant experience. And then,
Damn.
like, the other one that I was feeding also had antlers, and then the two of them literally locked antlers fighting over me. So it's like, okay, I'll just walk over here.
Just throw the
Y'all
crackers
have
and
a
run.
great day. But anyway,
Crazy.
outside of in Nara, they have this Buddhist temple called Todaiji, and the Great Buddha Hall is over 300 years old. It's a UNESCO World Heritage Site, all built out of wood. There's a giant Buddha statue in there that's like 50 meters tall. It was like absolutely breathtaking. So, Japan, the pop culture stuff is fun, whether it's, anime or video games, but like, take a minute to explore the real history and the culture,
Absolutely.
and you will be rewarded.
And then you said that you were telling us that there are Shibas everywhere. Like everywhere there are
Yes,
Shibas.
there are Shibas everywhere. So, go pet some Shibas.
Yeah. Oh, that's even the best. As being a Shiba owner, that's all I want to hear. So awesome. So you gonna move there, Chris, or no?
No.
No. Amazing, but I won't move there. So, cool. But anything else, Soul Bro?
No, I'm pretty solid, man. I know we got news.
Right. Episode 305. Yes. So, man, I got sauntering over to the Larry King Memorial News Studio. I guess it's also the Rodimus 76 Memorial News Studio now.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, so it's like I got two guys there that were all about the news and probably a little conflicting on their philosophies of news, but hey, whatever. They come to a common bound here. To Neo's listener submitted news. So I always thank everybody for submitting the news articles. And if you ever have anything you want to pop in there, just go to the Neo's listener submitted news articles thread in the Mecha Talk forum, in the Gundam section of the Mecha Talk forum. So, oh man. Well, it's too bad you won't be in Japan in July of next year, Chris. You know why? Because there's going to be some Macross Frontier concerts that have been announced for next May and July. Yes, it is. Yep, the Super Dimension Fan Club Macross Hamashima Meaning 2024 11/23 We Are Cheryl Gnome event has been announced. They announced that the singers will perform in the Macross F Galaxy Live 2025 concerts on July 26th and 27th at the K Arena Yokohama, and then they're going to play at the Mayan 20th Anniversary Concert Rides from Macross F on May 9th and 10th at the Pacifico Yamahama National Convention Hall. So, yeah, that's some pretty cool stuff. So, yeah, this is the voice actresses of Cheryl Gnome and Ranka going to be doing their greatest hits here. So, some cool stuff. So maybe somebody should plan a trip out there. Soul Bro, you gonna plan a trip out there?
No.
No?
Not anytime soon.
You're the next one.
You bet.
I'll go if I could take Foxy, but I just don't know how it's gonna work. So I don't have to go through the pet things.
I'll tell you, I was already annoyed that I was in Osaka and that they have a new Gundam statue that's already built. But you can't go see it yet because it's part of the World Expo that doesn't open until next year.
Oh, that's right. What, they have a giant sheet over it, or?
No, it's in an
out
area
there in the open. Yeah,
it's out in the open, but you can't get to it.
That's so ridiculous. Yazzie88 comes back and he's got an article here. You guys heard of Keanu Reeves, right? You know who that guy is. He's confirmed he's going to be in the next Armor Core episode of the upcoming Amazon anthology show, Secret Level. Each episode is based on the various video game series. So I'm not a huge Armor Core person. I know probably there's a lot of people that listen to this are, but I guess this is a pretty much a big deal, right? I mean, did you guys know about this?
Yeah, I saw the trailer for this, and it looks like a cool anthology series. I mean, I'm really excited about the Mega Man one that's coming out as part of it. But there's anthology episodes for like all sorts of different games, and Armor Core definitely is one of them. And I saw the Keanu Reeves portion. They released a sneak preview, and it's pretty cool looking. We're still fighting with the damn Uncanny Valley, and I'm gonna get into that more when we talk about Requiem for Vengeance. But for what it's worth, it looks pretty good. So yeah, man, cool stuff.
Bro, forget Mega Man and Armor Core. I'm all about that Concord episode.
Yeah.
I'm sure you are.
Concord, man, number one new IP.
I know, right? But the most exciting IP that you'll ever see for like 2 weeks.
That you'll never see.
That you'll never see. She got ripped out of existence.
And I'm just gonna tell everybody about this too. I know people love Armor Core. I just can't get into it. It's too much stuff. Like there's too much for me to do before I have to go out and fight. Like I'm just like
Hey,
I'm not a mechanic and a pilot. Just give me the goddamn suit, and I'll go out and do what I need to do. I don't need to set everything else up. I remember playing a couple of these games, like Armored Core 4. I'm like, wait, what the? Why am I having to do all this stuff just to like get launched? I mean, sorry, yeah. But,
Yo, Ed says Concord, the king of grand opening and grand closing. Ooh,
that is true.
Sony mistake, but sorry. Go ahead.
The Soulbros, I'm going to tease the Soulbro rant on the Uncanny Valley. You realize we don't have the technology, right, to beat that just yet?
Oh no, I have a completely different argument about that. I'll get into that when we talk about Requiem for Vengeance. But I feel a certain way about it. That's what I'll say.
So next thing here comes from oh man, I guess. I don't know, Chris. Is a Straight Talk Express? Is it warming up? I don't know.
Oh shit!
Is it?
Looks like it's time.
I don't know. Is it? Did it come back from Japan? Did you have to get it warmed up because you've been gone for a couple of weeks?
Got converted to electric.
That's very environmentally conscious of you. So next one here comes from MCT Dread. This last article of the night. Kahara Sunrise Anime Gundam. I don't even understand how to say this. GQuuuuX TV series. So I know this got
it's pronounced G-QuuuuuX.
G-QuuuuuX? Oh wow.
G-QuuuuuuX. Okay, G-QuuuuuX.
Like if you're saying crux but trying to sound cutesy.
Okay, Wux. Yes, the live stream Gundam Conference and Winter 2024 events announced on Wednesday that Studio Kahara and Sunrise are producing Mobile Suit Gundam GQuuuuuX TV series. It's a re-edited version of some episodes that will first play on the theaters on January 17th as Mobile Suit Gundam GQuuuuuX. Beginning, there is a English version of the teaser trailer. Story begins with Amato Yoizara, a high school student living peacefully in a space colony floating in outer space, when she meets a war refugee named Nyan. Amate is drawn into an illegal mobile suit dueling sport known as Clan Battle under the early name of MAHQ. She throws herself in a fierce battle day after day, piloting the GQuuuuuX, and then an unidentified Gundam mobile suit pursued by both the Space Force and the police appears before her with its pilot, a boy named Uji. So they also have here the list of the characters. So I know this was a big thing on Blue Sky yesterday. I saw that kind of going on, and I'm sure, Chris, you probably have some things to talk about this just based on the initial reactions of the fandom on this. I think I made a comment that this now elevates Witch for Mercury to legendary status, right? Because a new Gundam show has come out, so whatever failings happen in Witch for Mercury, it's now exalted and said,
the greatest show of all time now.
Those are minor issues. This is one of the greatest shows ever known to man. So,
it's all good now.
It's all good, yes. So all the crap that everybody was talking about for the last 2 years about Witch for Mercury, that doesn't matter at this point. So,
yes,
but
this is now the woke Gundam.
Mm-hmm.
This is now the trash.
Yeah. So I don't know, Chris. I'll lead it off to you. I'm sure you have some things to say about this. So I'll give the floor to you.
Well, it annoys me that 2 weeks ago I was at the Tamashii Nation store in Akiba, and now they have
right
for the GQuuuuuX on display there. Although I did get to see Robot Damashi Exam, and that is a very big, thick boy who was very expensive. So that was an experience in and of itself.
Man.
Wow.
My initial reaction is that this is a radically different approach for a Gundam series, and I'm all for it. We have Studio Kara, we have Hideaki Anno involved to a certain degree with the writing. We have the director of Fooly Cooly and Die Buster. It's a dream team in terms of
Creators.
the staff. And here's the thing. Not everything has to be for everybody.
Yes.
I've mentioned this before that, almost a decade ago, I peeled off of Robots in Disguise pretty fast because I didn't like it. It was too different from Prime, and it just felt like it was targeting a much younger audience, and it just wasn't for me. And you know what? That's fine. Not everything is for me. And one of the Bandai executives was alluding to this 2 years ago when they announced Witch from Mercury, saying that, the war stuff just doesn't appeal to younger people these days. So that's why they went with a different approach for that show. And then obviously they're going for an even more different approach with this show. And, Japanese companies have realized for a long time that Japan alone is not enough to sustain the anime industry. And that's why you have so many international co-productions, and, you have a lot of stuff that's being made to suit the tastes of foreign audiences. And I look at this trailer, I look at the pedigree of who's working on it, and the thought that immediately jumps into my head is that this is the most deliberately foreigner-friendly Gundam series ever made.
Oh, man.
Probably.
Because,
Yeah.
I'm sure Sunrise looked at, what do Westerners like? Westerners love Evangelion. This is true.
Yes.
Westerners love Fooly Cooly. This is also true.
Yeah.
Westerners also love Pokemon.
Yes.
Character designer from recent games is the one
Sun and Moon.
Should work on this. So, you put all that together, it's a winning formula.
Yeah.
And Gundam has to change from what it has been, because it's been around for 45 years, and the formula gets stale after a while.
Absolutely.
And I've seen people shitting on this just as they shit on every other new series the moment it's announced. And here's the thing. If you don't like it, you don't have to watch it.
Yeah.
If you don't like the direction that the franchise is going, you have 45 years worth of other things that you can watch.
Yeah.
Move on with your life, find other things to do. There's more to life than just Gundam. There's more to mecha anime than just Gundam. So, go check out something else that's more suited to your whims. But if you're out there waiting for the dirty old men series, that ain't gonna happen.
Well, that's what we talk about shortly. So,
But, yeah, but that ain't gonna be the 50 episode series that you're waiting for.
So, bro.
I agree wholeheartedly with Chris. I'll tell you a story. This weekend I had to babysit a friend's daughter throughout the weekend, and we watched Arcane, and we watched a couple other things, and then the thought crossed my mind, maybe she'll enjoy Witch from Mercury. So I put it on. She's like 10. And she enjoyed the hell out of the first couple episodes. She really enjoyed it. And it's like, oh, if I'd have shown her...
You're a bad babysitter.
I know, right?
That is 10-year-old.
Well, I was already a bad babysitter for showing her Arcane, but
Yeah, that's true, too. Yeah,
Arcane ain't no light work. And it's got some scenes in it. But she was fine with it, and she enjoyed what she saw of that. She's actually watching it on her own now. So it's like, man, that's cool, because I told about Gundam Info on YouTube, and they asked me for the link, and I gave it to him, and I think she's cruising her way through the show now. But she took to it pretty quickly, and it goes to show this is a person who probably would have never checked out a Gundam series, period, unless there's something in there for them. And you got another show that's youth-oriented. We kind of have a different audience nowadays than the one that would like to go and watch space opera, which is what Gundam was and still is to some degree. We just finished watching the Netflix series, which is falls back into the old what we know of Gundam has been for all these years. But I think there's room for everything here. The show has an aesthetic that's going to appeal to younger viewers, and a swath of them. When I saw that Take was involved with this, it's like, oh shit. So they got one of the character designers from Pokemon involved in this, and just the energy of the show, the conflict presented where it's more so of a competition, kind of like Build Fighters and shows like that. A little bit of the whimsy from that, but they're actually piloting mobile suits, which is a nice combination of the two kind of worlds put together here. I'm really interested in watching this, and I'm looking forward to see how it plays out. It's not really geared to a grown-ass man of 47 years old, but neither is most of the Gundam shows I watch at this point. I've aged out of most of Gundam, but I still enjoy watching it because it usually involves a mobile suit jacking, and then adventure ensues. So the show has intrigued me. When it comes to the design of the characters, it's not my flavor is the old school anime designs that I'm never gonna get again. So it's got that new design look that I just have to get accustomed to. But the mecha itself, I'm actually not too mad at how the Gundam looks. I usually expect now with every Gundam series since Gundam Turn A Gundam that there's every so often there's going to be a Gundam that kind of stands out and looks weird and different than others. And the Ariel to me in Witch from Mercury was, I think, a beautiful suit and kind of went back to conventional Gundam design. But this one they're thinking out the box with this one, and they're I guess they're trying to make this stand out and its silhouette stand out. And that's a big thing about design of anything. If the silhouette stands out and can be identified from the silhouette, then you made a pretty good design. So I think it's cool and interesting. I'm looking forward to seeing it in action and the other mobile suits that show up in this show. But it looks fun, and I'm not mad at this at all. As Chris said, not everything is made for me. And a lot of people expect everything to be made for them and feature people that look like them. And for me, it's never been about that. It's just, can you make a compelling story that'll make me want to tune in week to week? And I hope this show does that. So I'm looking forward to it.
I will say, for as cool as everything looks, the name is fucking dumb.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
It's silly.
Name is really.
It's hard to say.
Name is really fucking dumb, but by virtue of it being dumb, it's getting people to talk about it.
Yeah.
So,
well, here's the thing.
Here's the thing. In that respect.
Here's the thing. You guys talk about like, oh, it's going to be different and all that, but I look at like the list of the people that are making this. It's all people that made stuff for us back in the day. So it's like, here's the thing that I take from it.
Mm-hmm.
What have we basically said from the beginning of this show? Way back when we started, we always wanted something different.
Yeah.
And this has always been the thing that everybody always complained about. For years, people, more war. And yeah, I get sick of it too. I don't want to see any more war shit, to be honest with you. And if there's a different take on it, then that's what it is. That's what we're getting. And the thing that comes down upon it is either you like it or you don't. It's not a big deal. And that's the thing. But let's not sit there and make this seem like it's some type of revolutionary thing. It's done by a bunch of old Japanese guys. I mean, I'm looking at these people. Fully Cooley, Gunbuster 2, Die Buster. These people worked on Sailor Moon, Super 7, Evangelion. I mean, these are like the freaking these are like the 90s, like early 2000s people doing this. So it's not like a big, huge. We're not this big, huge departure of things. So, but the fact that we just have something that's different, it's good because I'm tired of it too. I'm tired of just the tired 1 year war bullshit or the 1 year war, no, it's tiresome, dude. I mean, honestly, even an American like show. I mean, if I don't have to see another fucking show set in the Middle East, and it's been there, done that. I'm welcoming this. But this idea that as soon as we see it, and I was seeing this even on Blue Sky, even pure and blue sky, the pure and blue world of Blue Sky. That sounds bad because Was it derogatory?
Yes, it was a
Gundam?
It was a very racist organization.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that should go back to the Twitter or Nazi Twitter. But no, even there, it's like people are like crapping. I saw Chris's tweet. I was like, oh, I gotta, or whatever it is, repost or Blue Sky, whatever you do now with it, BS it. So I was like, and it's the thing. It's just so funny because this stuff's so predictable. Every couple of years, oh, here's a new show. Oh, this is gonna be the end of Gundam and the end of humanity. What are we gonna do? And it's just like, come on, you just watched a teaser trailer of 45 seconds. What did you get from this? Half of this crap we won't even probably see in the show. So I welcome it, man, because I'll be honest with you, I'm tired of this. I just need new stories. It doesn't matter if it's Gundam, if it's American TV shows, whatever it is. I'm tired of all of it.
I guess that's also your review for Requiem for Vengeance, so you don't have anything to say about that.
Got him.
That's my teaser. That's my teaser for Requiem for Vengeance. But anything before we go? Because that's it for the news. So anything before we go into our reviews of Requiem for Vengeance?
Oh my gosh! As always, guys, if you have not been, make sure you go and you visit mahq.net. That's mahq.net. Go there, hit the favorites button, and make sure to check out the updates that are happening there quite often. Right now, there's a spotlight on Gundam Wing and Time of Eve and Macross VFX. Make sure you go there, check out the links there, and the Requiem for Reviews apparently is there as well. It's been a minute since I posted. Chris writes, it's up here, and you guys should go and check that out. And make sure to also visit mechatalk.net. That's the official forums for MAHQ. Other than that, I will turn it back over to you, sir.
And I will tell everybody this: go to Blue Sky.
Oh yeah,
if you haven't gone to Blue Sky, go to Blue Sky. Gundam is on Blue Sky.
Yeah,
a blue and pure world. It's a world where you can just sit there and post stuff about ridiculous shit, and it's not just the food buckets, apocalypse food buckets thrown in your face and conspiracy theories and all that Nazi shit that's on the whatever that thing is now with that dipshit. But that owned by the dipshit. But so
Luis Villalobos asked in the chat if we're on Blue Sky, and yes, we are. You can find us.
We are rebuilding we are rebuilding our follower base. Right now we have the drive to 500. Yes, we drive to 500. Mm-hmm. Hey, you know what? We're taking incrementally. We want to go back up to there. So tell your friends, and it's a good place. It's definitely a great place to just sit there and hang out and see cool things and not worry about being spammed by Russian bots and things like that. So.
If you're on Blue Sky, make sure to follow us at mahq.dotnet.bsky.social and Gundam.bsky.social. You can find links to either or when you go to one or the other. So make sure to follow us both there, and thank you very much for doing so. It's a much better environment, man. I've been having some great conversations on Blue Sky since I've been posting on there on a regular now, because I pretty much abandoned my Twitter. It's still there. I'm not shutting it down because I don't want people to take it over, but I'm not posting on there anymore. There's a redirect there if you guys go looking for me on Twitter, and Neil will be doing the same for the Gundam Twitter as well.
That is coming. That is coming.
So if you want to join the conversation over on Blue Sky, by all means, or of course on Facebook at Facebook group MAHQ1. So those are the links for the social media ends, and I'll turn it back over to you, sir.
All right, cool. So you guys ready? You ready for some Requiem for the Vengeance?
You bet, buddy.
All right. Yes, this is the Netflix 6-episode, I guess, limited series. Not an OVA, but a limited series. That would be a Western version of that. So, Chris, you want to give us a quick synopsis of this? I mean, we kind of know what it is, but, give it to us.
Sure. So it takes place in the Eastern Europe front of the 1 Year War in November of 0079 and focuses on a Zaku team led by Iria Solari. And they are helping out Xeon forces that are being besieged by Federation tanks until a Gundam appears and whoops their asses, kills half their team, destroys their Zaku's, and the series becomes a desperate um, struggle to escape from the Gundam. And every time they think they're getting away, like a slasher, the Gundam shows up and causes more death and mayhem. Um, the team regroups at a junkyard where a old friend of Solari's is convinced to have his mechanics put together two new Zaku's built entirely from scrapped parts of other Zaku's, which they successfully do. The Gundam attacks again, but they manage to fend it off. And then out of nowhere, Yuri Kalarny from 8th MS team shows up and
Yes.
says,
No.
"Hey, I need you to do me a solid and go steal some GMs so we can dissect them." So Solari puts together her team. They go steal a Federation APC and put on some uniforms. They're immediately attacked by their own side, which was brilliant.
The
That,
Midnighters.
they didn't tell their own people like, "Hey, we're kind of doing a thing over here, so maybe don't shoot at us." They sneak onto the base. They steal two GMs, but the Gundam shows up again to fuck up their shit. And it's piloted by a kid that Solari makes a new type connection with, but she loses the last of her teammates from her original team. And then at the end, it's Odessa time, and they are desperately trying to get off Earth by getting to an HLV. And Solari has a final duel with the Gundam. And the only question to be asked is, who will survive? Well, we know who. It ain't the kid. Sorry.
Oops.
And then Solari decides to go hang out with the butthurt losers in Africa.
Oh boy.
Even though she spends the whole series talking about how she just wants to get back to space to see her son. It's like, nah, I'm gonna chill down here in Africa with all these fucking haters.
Yeah, that was weird, but okay. Is that good with the synopsis?
That's it for the synopsis.
So, bro, what were your thoughts of Requiem for a Vengeance?
It sounds like I feel a lot different about this than you do. I went into this. I actually went into this with trepidation. I saw the trailer, and I hated the aesthetic. I hated it. I absolutely hated it. It reminded me of Igloo, and the aesthetic in that didn't really throw me all that much either. I wanted something to be a bit more stylized with the aesthetic. Something on the level of not to bring this up because I know the budget of this show was $250 million, but Arcane coming from that and going to this is like, damn. This is rough looking, man. And Uncanny Valley is still difficult to beat, Jack. It still is. But if you went stylized with this, I think it would have definitely looked a lot better if they went that route. But despite that, I actually quite enjoyed this. It's 6 quick episodes, averaging about 22 to 23 minutes apiece. It puts you in an element that you already know if you've been watching the 1 Year War series. All your Gundam career. If you've been watching that, then you know exactly where you are. For those who don't know, this is kind of runs parallel with 8th MS Team, and hence what Chris brought up earlier. There's a character that crosses over from 8th MS Team into this. Matter of fact, I had to do a double take when I saw him because I hadn't watched 8th MS Team in a while. And I saw the guy and I said, I know you. I know you.
It's technically more like he shows up here on his way to 8th MS.
Yes,
because he's heading east.
Yeah,
he does.
Pretty much.
He does, but they're close enough in proximity and timeline wise to kind of have an effect on each other. And where she ends up too falls into that's the same base that's featured in Gundam 0083, right? The African base.
No, this is No, there's
Sorry,
lots of bases in Africa.
in Africa. Okay, cool. I thought she ended up on the one that gets featured in 0083, but if there's a bunch of them in Africa, then that's a moot point then. But I actually enjoyed the travelogue in this series. The pathway, being introduced to the characters and what Iria was all about, where she was a violinist and her husband was a musician, and they volunteered for the war, got dragged into it, and it turns out she's a new type, which I was hoping that one would show up in this, and awesomely enough, she was the one. But then the way they depicted the Gundam in this series is the best thing about it to me. It is a terror, and it's very much the white devil that you had, that the Zeon soldiers had described Amuro's Gundam in the original Mobile Suit Gundam, but you're seeing it from the other position. And they did a great job with, as Yazi writes in the chat, they should have called the kid Jason because he was slashing everybody. So I love that horror aspect of it, and these people fighting desperately to survive with very little. Whether it's Iria or my man Neeland, LaShawn. My man LaShawn, man. He just didn't listen to orders, did he?
Sure didn't.
Kind of a wild card, but he made it pretty far in the show, and he made it to the penultimate episode. So props to him. But I like the visuals in this when it came to like the dreams that she would have, like the one about her son earlier on in the series, and then later on when she's performing, a flashback to when she's performing in concert, and then you see all the soldiers that she served alongside that died in the war, including the recently deceased LaShawn. That was pretty off-putting. But what I didn't like, just to point out about the situation with her son, I like the fact that she stayed behind and helped to defend the launching escape pods. But the fact that she decided to stay on Earth for the fact that the Gundam pilot was a child, and she discovered that, and she wants to stop other kids from being pilots. We all know how the Universal Century goes. There ain't nothing stopping children soldiers from happening. And from where she is, I don't see how she's gonna stop it or make any progress in stopping it. She'd have been better off going back home.
Certainly not in Africa.
Yeah, exactly. She'd have been better off going back home and making sure her kid doesn't become one, because we tend to see that the Zeon youth end up having to become pilots somewhere down the road. So there might be a good chance her son ends up being a pilot, with her being away from home, not being there to make sure of it. But the one brother, I forget his name, but the older black man that was the captain. Yeah, exactly. Him. He might end up raising the kid. So I certainly hope that's the story there. At least he'll be looking after him in her stead if they happen to make it back to Side 3 or wherever she's from. So there's that. But mentioning some of the stuff I saw in the chat, Yazi had mentioned about the combat scenes, and that's one of the best things about this series. The combat scenes in the sense of scale are ridiculous. The staff behind this did an incredible job of putting you kind of on the ground when these mobile suits are fighting. There's a lot of shots where you see the soldiers trying to escape the chaos of a Zaku and a Gundam fighting and trying not to get stepped on and crushed, and just people just doing their best not to get killed in insanely untenable situations. And I think this does probably the best job of all the 3D Gundam series of making you feel that kind of fear and chaos, or at least the best job I've seen since Hathaway's the Mobile Suit Gundam Hathaway, because that particular scene with the city's on fire. Hathaway's Flash, yeah, that was also a pretty good example of it. But I think this actually does a little bit better. It feels a bit more grounded. And the ragtag crew that she happens to form on the way there is also pretty interesting too. There's the one woman that has all the tattoos on her. Let's see, Haley Arhoon, I want to say. She kind of had like that 1,000-yard stare. She's been in the conflict for too long. I was amazed that she actually survived and got back into space with everybody else. So that was cool to see. But and also the Major too. That guy was he was fighting real hard to look like David Niven. But it was I was amazed that he actually survived and made it into space also. But it's an interesting watch. Again, if you're a one-year war fan, you're probably gonna dig this. And I found it an easy breezy watch. and very compelling to me. I don't mind revisiting the 1 Year War. It's been done to death. I get it, but if it's in small bites like this, I'm not against it. If it's another full on 13 to 20 26 episode series, I could probably do without that. But if it's an OVA, a movie, or something like that, I'm fine because there's a lot of ground that I think you can still till with the 1 Year War and the after effects of that. I actually want to see more of between the 1 Year War and the Grips Wars. What I really would like to see, because I think that's a very interesting period in the Universal Century. But 1 Year War seems to be the place that they revisit. And I'm wrong to say this was primarily made by an American or a Gaijin creative team, right? I would say this is this
Western team, not an American team.
Yeah, a Western team worked on this, so it's also interesting to see Gundam from that perspective too. And I think they did a solid job.
Although Himitoshi Yamane did the mecha designs, and he is a longtime Gundam veteran who, not surprisingly, worked on 8th MS team.
Oh yeah, because it to me feels like a spiritual cousin to that show. To be honest, it reminded me of a lot.
It's the Xeon equivalent of a.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. But I've spoken enough. I'm gonna go ahead and toss it back to you guys. But I did enjoy this vastly, and I recommend people watching this, especially if you're a long-time Gundam fan.
Chris.
So, I have my reviews that I uploaded, of course, in time for this episode.
Oh yeah,
and it's got some issues. One, the characters are not particularly interesting. Everybody's a cardboard cutout, including Stellari, and you never really get to know too much about anybody. Okay, you learn that Stellari was a famous concert violinist before the war, and that her deceased husband was also a famous musician, but that's kind of the end of everything you learn about her. You don't even learn her kid's name.
Yeah,
You don't see any flashbacks of her with her husband and kid to try to show you a bit more of why she's so desperate to get back home, which would have been helpful. All the other characters, none of them really stand out. So, in the first episode, when her crew is getting murked right in front of her, I don't really feel anything, because it's I don't fucking know anything about these people. They have not made a mark on me. It doesn't matter to me that they are being killed. What the series does do well, I think, is to show the terror of the Gundam from Zeon's perspective, because when you see Amuro bringing the pain, it's from his perspective.
Yep.
So of course it's going to look different than from how the Zeon would see it. I think before this, the only time we've really seen a Zeon perspective is in the first season of Thunderbolt. There was a scene involving the camera view of a Zeon pilot, and the pilot losing his shit when EO comes at him and just relentlessly attacks him and kills him.
Oh yeah.
I know you all know the scene that I'm talking about.
Yeah,
and that's all we've ever gotten for this, where here it's let's make a whole series out of that. And I like the tension. It's very horror movie of just when you think that you're safe and you've gotten away from the Gundam, nope, here it is again, ready to fuck up your shit even more.
Yeah, man.
So I like that. I like the of having to literally string together Zaku's out of garbage, and the way that they try to improvise defenses against the Gundam's beam weapons. So, shout out to the Zeon field mechanics for all the crazy stuff that they did trying to respond in the war. Another thing I liked is when we see the kid, who in the Japanese subtitles is referred to as Phoenix. So that is his name, even though they don't say it in the English subs. But you see how young he is in this realistic character design style, and it really demonstrates, I think, more effectively the insanity of child soldiers in these 50-foot tall war machines, because when you see Amuro in the original series, he's an animated character in 1970s character design style. Like, it doesn't hit you the same way as a realistic looking kid designed in Unreal Engine in 2024.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that it's effective at. By the same token, with Unreal Engine, there's some hiccups. The character animation and movement is a lot more awkward than I expected it to be.
Yeah.
Especially with this engine, it's like I'm watching Igloo 3 sometimes, and that should not have been the case. It's like, come on, it's 2024, we're using Unreal Engine 5. This has been used to power virtual sets on The Mandalorian and other movies and shows. What is with all this jank and weirdness?
I'd say a limited budget.
Yeah.
More than likely.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know how much Sunrise was willing to invest in this experiment.
Mhm.
Clearly, it's not to the same level as like American companies that are using this engine for creative purposes outside of games. So, that needed some work. That's my general thoughts. It's enjoyable but flawed.
Amen.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to kind of go to that same thing as like, as I'm watching this, I've seen it before.
Oh.
It's now you haven't seen it so much on the aspect of the Xeon thing, but as soon as like what Chris said, I felt I was watching Thunderbolt again, and it felt like a spiritual successor of Thunderbolt, which is fine. It's just fine, but you're right. I'm not invested in the characters. Like it feels like there should have been something at least a little bit that would have
like a flashback of a mission that they did
something,
together.
yeah.
Like their camaraderie to like actually show them as a team before half of them get murked.
Yeah.
You're right, because in
better.
the first episode, spoiler alert, like within the half of the episode, half of the team is gone. Like it's just gone, and you're like, okay, so what? and then you're like, and then Solara's, she's pissed, and it's like, you're like, okay, I guess, but why would you care? So it's I mean, I think you're right. For once, Sunrise, they made it where it was like, you know what? Let's only do 6 episodes. I think it's the perfect encapsulate. It's the perfect length for what it is. It's not perfect. It's a way of showing the dregs of war and how bad war is on both sides. I sometimes feel like it would have been better to see a little bit more of what happened to Phoenix on the Federation side, but I get it, because the whole thing about this was just seeing it through the eyes of the CN officers, which is definitely weird when you're watching in November in the United States and you're like, oh my gosh, fascism. We're watching a show about people upholding a fascist regime, but that was weird. So the Uncanny Valley stuff, I don't know. I mean, I think it's probably been on the cheap, but I also think I just don't think the technology is caught up yet. I think that everybody that complains about that, it's like, even if you spent, I mean, let's be honest, how much has Marvel spent on some of their computer animation? It looks like dog crap. So
that's because they keep changing their minds, and these teams are like struggling to get shit done on time.
Yeah.
I get it, but there does come a point where we have to like just kind of admit that maybe we're not as far enough advanced as we thought we would be at this point. That didn't bother me as much as the thing of like Solari's just such a weird character, especially where the point is like her whole focus is to go back to space and be with her son, and then she stays on Earth after that. It's like, really? I mean, you're that much of a true believer? Because
I can understand like the whole thing of like she makes the heroic sacrifice of staying behind to ensure that everyone else escapes. That's fine, but like, why would you still like keep fighting with the Xeon afterwards? Like, why
right,
not just go somewhere and become a civilian and try to figure out some way to get back to space? Like, why keep fighting?
right. That's the point I would have. It's like once the war is done, we have this kind of understanding that once the war was done, if people were willing to go back to the, pledge allegiance to the Federation and stuff, they would relocate them back to where they were supposed to. Why would you keep doing this? Like I'll be honest with you, it was weird to me because she didn't seem like as much of a Xeon hardliner as like we've seen in other Gundam series. Like, did you get that from her? I didn't think she was that much of a true believer. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know.
The impression I get is that she's not there because she wants to be. That she was drafted and her husband was drafted.
Right.
And she's not some like Zabi loyalist, but she has this like misplaced sense of responsibility at the end of the series because of her encounters with Phoenix.
Yeah, but still, it's like, really? I mean, I don't know. It just seemed to really kind of strange to me. I don't know. It seemed.
It's one voiceover line that really just kind of ruins the finale.
Yeah.
To a certain extent.
Yeah.
Like, you just could have not had that one line about like, oh, I'm gonna stay with the Xeon in Africa and keep fighting for a better future. Like, what? No, that just could have just not said that. That would have been so much better.
Because if you know Gundam, you know the reason why they're staying in Africa is because they're true believers. Like, we see them in
Unicorn,
AA3 and Unicorn. They're true believers. Like
Double Zeta, yeah. These are hardcore losers who do not want to admit that they lost, and they are fighting for their lost cause even 16 years after the fact, which is like an impressive level of dedication and obsessiveness.
And the fact that your whole thing up to that point was, I just need to make it back to see my son. It's like, and even the fact that like old ass mechanic that she encountered when they're in they go to that base and stuff. I mean, it's like her whole focus was going back to her kid. It's like, wait, you're gonna just stay back and stay with these losers, and that was weird to me. That was really weird to me. So,
Another thing is that this series, like, I have to mention this in my part, sorry, but that it doesn't really give you any context of what's going on at the start. It just assumes that you know everything about Gundam and the 1 Year War, and it just barely acknowledges the fact that the Xeon on Earth are
horrible
invaders.
Yeah.
And of course it makes no mention of the fact that Xeon is fascist. So it's like soldiers and everything. It's like they're not fighting for anything good. Like they're fighting to uphold fascism.
They played up too much like
even
heroes.
If they're not screaming Sieg Heil.
Yeah, exactly. They played up too much to be like heroes when it's kind of like both sides issue in this war. Xeon did make some horrible moves, like dropping colonies and gassing colonies.
I'll be honest with you. The 1 Year War, you can say what you want about the Earth Federation.
Yeah, they were pretty bad.
But in the 1 Year War, I really don't see the Earth Federation as being. I mean, they're not. In later iterations of them, you can sit there and say, yeah, they're corrupt. They might be just as bad as the Xeon, but in First Gundam, I never got the thing of them being that much worse. I mean, yes, we have the whole thing in in First Gundam when they go to Jaburo and they're looking at Armoro and the kids and they're testing them to be new types and stuff. But that was more out of like desperation than anything else. Like I never got in that whole like 1 Year War that like they were that truly oppressive and horrible. It was just, and I know we get clouded later with Gundam the Origin and things like that, but
Yeah, and that may have clouded my judgment.
It's a tough one. It's like, I get it. Yeah,
because Gundam the Origin kind of shows them in a slightly better light, especially when you factor in Char's struggle and his dad and all that stuff. You know, and I can see that they would want independence. You know, they would want independence. The way they went about it was fucking awful.
Right.
But
right.
independence is something that I would celebrate if they got it, if they didn't do the things that they did or was a fascist regime. You know, that to me is like the big thing. But
right, because the first thing they do is like, I mean, the opening narration of First Gundam is like, you know, they wipe out half the world's population.
No doubt.
So it's like, okay, what? You know, I get it. Okay, maybe they weren't the best of people, but is a fascist regime but done by this family that thinks they're so much better than everybody else? Because that's what it was. I mean, the Zabis felt that they were much better than everybody else.
Yeah.
So it's a weird one. I don't know. Yeah. And it was weird watching this. It's weird watching this at the beginning of November of 2024. You're sitting there going,
"Oh shit!" You see the whole different light now.
It's like, wait, what? This makes sense. I don't know what's going on here.
That's a rough one.
Somebody help me here. So,
but yeah,
Chris, any other negatives that you had, or any other positives that you had on this, or?
It does a pretty good job of translating mobile suits and vehicles into 3D. One area where it does not really do well is specifically the character of Killarney, because his anime character design, specifically his hair, just looks really out of place in a realistic design aesthetic.
And they beautified him up a little bit too much. It wasn't nearly that Bishonen until this whole thing. It's like, yo, he's been glammed up.
Yeah, he just looked off, and like he just stuck out immediately compared to everybody else. So that was kind of weird. You know, I wish we'd also gotten some more backstory on Phoenix, especially because, you know, he's talking about how he doesn't have any choice to fight. So it's like, what does that mean? Did Zeon attack his home like Amuro? He's clearly a new type. So, you know, was he part of some forced new type experiment by the Federation that they like are making him fight? So
yeah, what's that foundation
some
called?
more clarity on. What?
There's that foundation, that group that tests new types for the Federation. I forget what it was called. Yeah, it's kind of like a new type farm that the Federation has. Damn it, can't remember what it's called now. But it's named
after the war. It's after. There's Murasame.
Murasame, yeah, that's right. But there was someone beforehand. I'll have to look it up. But
you're thinking of the Flanagan Institute, but that's Zeon.
Oh, that's okay. There you go.
That's Zeon.
I got my wires crossed then.
Yes. So that would have been helpful to explain his character a bit more. Like, you know, is he an accidental pilot, or is he being forced to do this? So knowing that would have given some more insight into where he's coming from and why he is so merciless in attacking the Zeon forces. I feel like there's just a lot of spots where the writing could have been tightened up a little bit, and it would have gone a long way. So that's kind of the shame of it all, because conceptually this is a a good idea for a series, but there's definitely some flaws in the execution.
I have a question
Yeah.
for you guys. A couple years ago, there was a rumbling that we were going to get a live action Gundam series that was produced by Netflix or going to be on the Netflix platform. It seems that has
But
fizzled
not
out.
produced by Netflix.
Not produced, made by I guess whatever studio was going to be working on it. Do you guys
Legendary.
think that Legendary? There you go. Do you guys think that it ended up becoming this, like this concept would have been the concept for the live action movie, but they never got off the ground, so they decided to make it a 3D animated affair instead?
Did you
don't
not
know.
see the news last month that they picked a new director and writer for the
Oh,
fair.
the movie, and that it's no longer going to be on Netflix?
Oh shit, that's right. My bad. I just the thought across my
So
mind.
the
when I
answer
was
to your
watching
question
it
is no.
There you go.
Definite
yeah.
no.
Gotcha.
No. I think, Netflix is just, it's looking for content, and it's looking for things that's going to work, and this is probably coming off the success of Hathaway's Flash.
Yeah.
I mean, that was a success. So, but yeah. So, bro, anything else on?
Ultimately, this was an interesting watch. I thought it was compelling in parts, and it fell off in others. I wouldn't be opposed to another one of these stories somewhere down the road, but I'm interested to see what they'll make for Netflix next if they do another series of some kind, and I guess we'll see. But I thought out of the 3D Gundam series that are presented in this format, in the kind of igloo line of things, I enjoyed this one the most. When it came to the story and how things played out. That ending though is for the birds.
At least Nazi-fied.
Yeah, the ending is for the birds when it comes to where she ends up. But leading up to the Gundam pilot getting killed, which I thought was the most gangster move out of all this, I didn't expect the kid to die at all. I thought that maybe they would come to an impasse or something like that. But when the kid got stabbed in the back, it's like, oh shit. Well, that is.
There goes the
that's
understanding.
Yeah, there goes the understanding. It was pretty hardcore. But I felt bad for the kid because, as he mentioned, he was forced to do this. And you're right. I would love to know more about his story and how this led to this coming about for him. But I enjoyed at least the moment where they met on the base. I had a feeling that was going to happen, especially when they gave her the mission of trying to steal the GM. It's like, oh, she's going to run into the Gundam pilot. I know that for a fact. And sure enough, it played out, especially when they introduced him. It's like, oh, they're going to run into each other. That new type shit is going to happen. And it did. And I really, really enjoyed that part of the series. But overall, interesting watch, man. I liked it.
Well, that's the problem with it is, like, they do realize that you could just give us, like, 5 minutes of something with him.
Yeah.
And you don't have to give everything away, but it was like, what is his motivation for this? And I think it's like a weird lost art now. I don't know. It seemed like at one point there used to be a point where we could see that with things, but for whatever reason, I just don't get it.
If I was to revisit this episode, I would have actually presented it from the whole fifth episode. I would have presented it mostly from his perspective, like him being on the base. Kind of like just give us a brief rundown of what's going on with him, introduce us to him, because by this point we haven't seen what he looks like or if it's a kid in the cockpit up until this point. So it'd have been a great avenue to do that, and then
you don't even have to show him. You could just do the first person view. Like if you wanted to do anything, you could just do the first person view of him. So you don't even know if it's a man, if it's a woman, or whatever it is. Yeah, but
you can keep it a mystery.
That's the biggest thing to me is, like, I feel like it had a lot of potential, but then in the end it was kind of lazy and it didn't go any further than, and it just felt like another. I felt like I've seen it before.
Oh,
that was the biggest issue that I felt.
I think you could say, and this is like a common criticism of long-running franchises that the people who initiate franchises like George Lucas and Tomino, that they are creating an original work, and then many decades later, the people working in that same sandbox, rather than creating something new, as fans are just creating more of that same thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or what
'Cause,
they
like-
or what they want it to be, or what
Regurgitation.
the best
is-
part of what they liked about it. You know?
Yeah, this is made by a Western team that
Fans.
very clearly are fans of 8th MS
Yeah.
Team.
Yeah.
So
Oh yeah.
they just did their own version of 8th MS Team.
Yeah, the fact that Yuri shows up, I'm like, that's what I was, because the whole time I was watching this, I was like, what does this feel like to me? And then he shows up, and I'm like, oh my god, this is with MS Team. And then I like quickly went to the interweb. I'm like, wait a second, where does this fall in with with MS Team? And like you said, Chris, this is kind of like right before he goes and does his stuff in 08 MS Team. I'm like, holy crap. I mean, it's cool that you have him in there, but then it's like, it shows that you are just kind of piggybacking on something that you just love. And I don't know. It doesn't make it bad, but it's like, it also pains me because there's so much other potential on what we could do here. So,
And that's why we're getting Gundam G-Quux.
oh, the worst Gundam ever made. Yeah.
The worst, yes, it's the absolute worst. Yeah, someone has to take the crown every time.
Well, I mean, it's great now. I mean, I can't wait to attend the ascension of Witch from Mercury to the legendary
right?
status. Like
I'm
that's
waiting for them to hang the jersey in the rafters.
Did we get those invites yet? I mean, Chris,
I'm waiting.
you've got to be going for MAHQ. I mean, my gosh, it's now exalted. It's untouchable.
And now it's not woke anymore.
Oh,
Magically.
No, it's not woke anymore because it was, it was a female character from like what 2 years ago. So,
Well, but
much different.
Second that they had a trailer for this and see Arhoon with pink hair and a nose ring and a bunch of tats.
Oh,
all these
boy.
dudes like, it's the woke.
Yeah. Yo, Ed wrote in the chat.
It wasn't anything like even remotely that you could classify as woke. Not that word as a pejorative has any fucking meaning at all that anyone can understand. But even then, it's like she's just a lady with a machine gun. Like that's it. Like and she's from a dumbass Tiger Bomb colony from Double Zeta that is like full of weirdos.
Yeah,
So
man.
Little deep cut reference that they threw in there.
That's pretty cool, actually. I mean, Gundam has always been forthright with having dope female characters, though. I mean, going all back to the original series, like Sayla and it just any number of characters that have been throughout the years. But now they see like there's diversity in the characters in this, and they just want to call this DEI Gundam or whatever the fuck they want to call it. And it's like, come on, man.
As much as you like Sayla, if you really look back at First Gundam, like when the points where they could really just make her. I mean, the fact that remember she took out the Gundam and she was completely useless. So it got its foot cut off. That is just like that's a product of its time, and it's like. It's like, oh, and then you find out later, because the whole time during the whole show, they're like, oh, she has the same type of abilities that even Armo has. And it's like, the one time she can show it, it's like, no, she completely can't even like get out of the white base without the Gundam getting its foot cut off.
Hey, man, we got
it's like, it was like towed embarrassingly by the gun tank.
Oh, speaking of gun tanks, man, there's a lot of gun tank murder in this, and it was zombie tanks too, man.
Yeah,
I know you cried tears. I know you cried tears.
Gun tanks get killed and
murked.
So Magellan tanks.
Oh,
well, it makes sense. A
lot of tank murder in this.
Yeah,
all sorts. Mobile Suit Gundam, original Mobile Suit Gundam had Katsuya though, so I'll give you that. Until she went out like a punk, but you know, she was.
Even then, she got her head blown off. She had like one of the
that's
most.
pretty gangster way to die though.
Yeah. Really? Her head blown off.
Hey, but she got blown up. She went out like Michael Bay.
She got her head blown up, and then the Zazabi got blown up. I mean, Jesus Christ. What more could happen to her? It's like people complained about poor Masato and Evangelion. She got shot, and then she ends up getting blown up again.
Yeah.
And liquefied and blown up. But, yeah, I mean... Does it check the things of old Suit Gundam where it's like the horrors of war? Oh, it's got this in spades. Like it is got I mean, in terms of like the horrors of war, it's up there. Check. It is up there. But the problem is you just don't, I mean, even in 6 episodes, I think you can still get I still didn't care when people were dying. Even Solaria, I was like, even she died, because I was expecting her to die at the end of this. I'm like, something was going to happen, and I was like, I don't care.
Oh,
I wouldn't have cared. I mean, and then they do the whole thing of like, oh, I'm just going to stay here in Africa. You know, screw my son. The whole reason for me trying to survive this war, but fuck him. You know,
I'm guessing they left it like that maybe because they were hoping that we could get to do another season with her in that location or something like that. But I don't think that's going to happen. I don't know if I don't think it got a lot of play on Netflix after
that. Sounds stupid though, man. Because I mean, I'm not even a storyteller, but if I'm a storyteller and my character, their whole motivation to do thing, like to survive, is to get to this one point, and then at the point that they could do that, they just completely abandon it at the end for no real explicable reason, because we don't even get a reason why she stays in Africa. It's one thing if it's like, you know, I felt like I needed to do this because there were so many problems, blah, blah, blah. It's like, I just stayed here.
Well, after the abandonment of Odessa, I think that was pretty much your last shot to really get into space until after the war was over, and maybe if you were a prisoner.
Right, but the war was over with, and you're that's the thing. You could have got relocated. Like that's the problem. You could have got reunited.
Yeah, when you're in that position though, you don't know exactly what would happen to you. So as she went with what she knew, I think, and went to go serve there, thinking that was the best thing she could do. Of course, we know that's not the case.
That's lazy. That's lazy writing. I guess you're telling me that all those dudes like in like World War II, even like those German soldiers that were like put all wherever, they lose, and then they get the first thing is like, we can take you back to wherever you're from. They were like, no, I'm just gonna stay here.
I'm still here, right?
No, it doesn't make any sense, dude.
Well, I like to think hopefully when the war ended, she finally did go back at the Side 3 or wherever she's from. And
dude, the war was done. Africa was like later on.
Oh, was it? I thought that she immediately went there after that, and that it was still the last phase of the war that she was there. I didn't see like a date or anything like that.
Chris is it seemed like she was there after the war, right?
You mean after the official end of the war?
Yeah.
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 She wasn't anywhere near Africa, but ended up there anyway with all these
losers.
Clowns.
Yeah, because all the losers, they all went to Africa. Yeah.
Gotcha.
All the remnants.
I thought they already had a foothold in Africa, but I guess I was wrong there.
I mean, they did, but they stayed there after the war.
Yeah. Well, there you go. So I guess she never
left. Jared Messa was hunting her at one point, right?
Yo, Jared! Oh shit, my boy.
My guy. Hunt a peanut butter sandwich.
Yeah, tell me about it.
Fucking Capricorn.
Still one of my favorite deaths ever in Zeta. Capricorn, and of course Jamaican. Oh, Jamaican is chef's kiss.
Why is it the most evil? Why is it the most evil assholes have the best uniforms? What is that about? I mean,
the Titans cannot be beat. They can't be beat, man. I fucking love that uniform. I love that uniform so much. I hate the zombie uniform, but the I will put on the Titans uniform in a fucking split second. I'll put that motherfucker on. They can gas 20 colonists. I'm still putting it on.
Yeah, it's such an amazing variant of that Earth Federation.
Oh.
That boring ass gray ass
godlike. I fucking
Earth
love
Federation uniform that was like in like 90 different animes at that time.
You got to give a shout out to the Oz uniform.
Oz
which
was
those
the
are some
shit
of the-
too. Whew.
Those are some
Yeah.
of the best uniforms in Gundam,
They were cooking.
Yeah.
and they were all about nobility and nonsense, and not so much the fascism, but kind of.
Yeah.
Dude, the Oz uniform, that is the best.
Just
They are the best.
Trace's fit was off the chain. It was,
Man.
it's so good.
Even God
Even
will
God.
understand their fashion choices.
Yes.
He was still
Yes,
one of the.
indeed.
I mean, you think about it, it's like, in the end, Trace was pretty much a fascist bastard himself, but it's like he did it in such a way it didn't make you feel bad.
He was so factual about it.
Yeah, you're like, and he just did it with such grace, and he just looked so goddamn good.
Even Millardo looked good, man. Fuck.
Oh my god!
Bad people doing things fashionably makes it acceptable, don't
Yo,
you?
That's
I
a subject.
guess so. I mean,
That's a subject for another day. Which uniforms were off the hook?
even those low level Oz guys, like when Noin and them stole the frickin' Ares from that base, and those guys, and she had to go and kill the dudes that she was training and stuff. I'm like, wait, these are jobbers, and they just still have great uniforms. What is this? Yeah, that I guess that's a future Gundam topic. Is like, what fascist organization had looked the best, and made us forget about how evil they were.
Man, fill an hour with that shit. My God, man.
You got your boy Iron Mask. It's like,
who will get the Hugo Boss Award?
Exactly.
Hugo Boss Memorial Award.
Yes,
exactly.
Design.
It still pains me when I read about that. I'm like, Jesus, I actually have a nice, really Hugo Boss suit. It's amazing. I'm like, oh fuck, I'm wearing the suit that the Nazis would.
Yo,
I would have.
This segment brought to you by Volkswagen.
Wow, there's the one point I drove a Volkswagen actually on the Merc. So it's like, what do you do on that stuff? Yeah, but that is a great future Gundam. That's a future great Gundam topic.
Yes.
I mean, we'd have to expand outside of Gundam because there's some great ones outside of that too. So fashion's not so bad as long as you look good, right?
That's
right. There you go.
Yeah, if you're gonna do it, look good at it.
Exactly. So, anything else, guys? Before we go into our ratings.
I'm ready.
All right, so bro, if you're ready, then give us your first rating. You're up, man. Give us your rating. Give us your rating right now on the MAHQ scale.
I'm gonna steal yours.
1 through
I'm
5.
gonna steal yours, man. I'm gonna give this because it's a little above average for me. It had a pretty good soul to it. I'm gonna give this 3.5 exploding Zaku tanks out of 5.
Oh, soul, but then would it have heart? Heart or just soul? Because they have heart and soul.
Man, I'm gonna say it's got more soul than heart. There you go.
Yeah,
just a bit more.
Chris, what?
I'm gonna give this one 3.5 flaming Lashans out of 5.
Well,
damn. Yo, the
he got roasted good.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I'm glad Alfie made it because I knew LaShawn's black ass was gonna get lit up. Damn.
Well, I'm just gonna make this unanimous because I'm gonna give it 3.5 violin concertos out of 5 because my thing about it is it's better. So 3's average. It's better than that, but it's not really 4, which is so it's not a B. It's not a C. A 3 is a C, but it's not a B, so it's kind of like in there. So it's horrible, but I think the advantages it has is only 6 episodes, and they're only about 20, 21 minutes each.
Yeah, it's a breeze.
I mean,
it's a breeze to get through.
They're pretty tight. Yeah, they're pretty tight. So, but it helps with the universe. So, But wow, when was the last time we had a unanimous ranking? I don't know if we ever have. Have we? I mean,
Yeah,
I'm sure we have.
I'm sure we have. It probably hasn't been for a while. Usually, like one of us is off a little bit. So, but glad
yeah,
to see.
you always have. I mean, lately it's been like, yeah, it's like
I'm usually the
Neo
odd
should
man
hate
out.
this.
Yeah.
It's like Neo should hate this, but no, he actually liked this one.
Yeah.
There's a couple times there I
I'm
felt
surprised-
bad.
shut-
It was like, oh, Sobro hated this. Chris hated this. I'm like, I feel bad in giving this a 5.
No, never feel bad, man. Speak your mind.
No,
Ain't
I
nothing wrong with
don't.
feeling
But
different.
I don't care at this point. It's like what's happening to the world?
Oh, Yazi asked, didn't we all love Godzilla -1? Yeah, I'm trying to.
What?
No, he wanted to know if we gave it all the same score, and I believe we did. I have to go back and look. It might have been a 5 out of 5 from us.
Oh, the final score. Yeah, we
Yeah.
probably did. That
Yeah,
was
I think we're all
probably the last
unanimous.
one. Have you guys watched it in black and white? I'm like
Not
scared
yet.
to do it. Actually,
I'm looking forward
like
to
the
it. once I
movie
just sit
actually
down.
scares me.
Yeah, it's and it really,
What?
and I think
I
you
watched
re-
it not too long ago on Netflix, and I started watching. I'm like, holy fuck! I'm like, I was just gonna like put it in the background. I'm like, wait a second, and then I couldn't stop watching it, and I'm like, wait, this movie like actually frightens me.
I have not watched minus color, but on the flight to Japan, I watched the original Godzilla.
Really,
And I mean-
Gojira.
The original Japanese version, not the chopped up American version with
Right.
Raymond Burr. Yeah,
And I gotta say, it holds up.
man,
Yeah.
that's good. It must make a
Yeah.
good companion piece to watching Godzilla -1.
So-
Then
I have the Blu-ray of the original movie, which has got both versions in it, and yeah, I think I don't know. A couple of years ago, I watched the Japanese version, and you're right, it holds up. So wow, that's cool. And so, Chris, you said like you told us that you had watched Bad Boys.
Yeah, 1 and
while you were
2.
on the flight. Yeah, 1 and 2.
You know, it's like you guys were on the flight with me.
Oh man, what
Spirit of
airline?
Sorbet.
What airline did you fly that would have so many great choices of cinematic excellence? Because if I'm going to fly to Asia, that's the one I want to fly to. What did you fly?
That would be United.
Oh, nice.
Oh wow, you flew United. Okay, cool, awesome. So
Well, I know Bad Boys 2. I don't know if you were astounded at how long it is, because that movie has like 4 acts. It's super long, but
yeah, but he was on like a 12-hour. Oh well, probably from from Fort Lauderdale. He's on like a 16-hour.
true. Length is no object in that situation. But I love that movie. I think 2 is like one of the best action movies ever made. And if you watch,
it is the greatest action adventure movie of all time.
And
Chris,
now-
you have to second that. I'm sure you were smiling.
yeah,
Like,
not if
this
you
shit's
watch.
so ridiculous, but it's fun.
Not if you watch 1 and 2 though. I don't know if you've already seen Hot Fuzz. You probably saw Hot Fuzz before you watched those 2 movies. But if you have not, Hot Fuzz makes a great companion piece to Bad Boys 2. It's just a way that it's a love letter to that movie. So, and they reference it throughout it. So, if you ever watch Hot Fuzz, you'll definitely enjoy it more now that you've seen both Bad Boys movies.
I saw Hot Fuzz back in the day.
Gotcha.
I'm all about the Cornetto trilogy.
Oh, there you go. So now a lot of those jokes will hit a little bit harder if you watch it again. So that's pretty cool. But yeah, it's good stuff.
So what is your favorite, Chris? 1 or 2? Bad Boys 1 or 2? It's got to be 2, right? I mean,
2's a little overlong in terms of the story. It's
Yeah.
like it's not that deep of a story to justify being so long. And I feel like Gabrielle Union's character like disappears for very long stretches and
Yeah.
like doesn't really
oh
have
my gosh,
much
yeah,
in the way.
sure? Huh?
But I would say in terms of action, 2 was definitely better than 1, especially just like that chase scene in the middle of the movie. And,
Oh my
and the
God.
shootout with the Haitians.
Oh my god, yeah.
Oh yeah.
I mean,
Oh!
I will tell you this. I had actually watched 1 not too long ago. You're right. In terms of story, it is more of a classic like detective police action story. It's really not a bad movie. I feel bad for it because it always gets forgotten. It's really not that bad.
Here's something that we forgot to mention during our Bad Boys review. You had mentioned something about the Bad Boys cinematic universe, right? And I had said, well, there's only the movie, so it's not really much of a cinematic universe. Someone in the chat wrote, and I missed it at the time, but I had forgotten that there is a TV show that features Gabrielle Union's character from Bad Boys 2. It's called LA's Finest, and it aired for 2 seasons. I don't know what network it was on, but it aired for 2 seasons.
That was the thing on Spectrum.
Yes.
Oh my God, that was one of those.
That's a spin-off of Bad Boys. It absolutely is.
That was a spin-off of Bad Boys. I actually remember that because when I lived in a different part of the city, I had Spectrum Internet or Spectrum Cable, and that was a time where Spectrum was doing their own like TV shows, which is crazy because there was a point where a cable station the cable company's doing their own TV shows. Yeah, because they did that and a couple other ones. And there's another one that people love. I forget what it is. It's 2 women. I forget what it's called. Yeah,
that was LA's Finest. It's
No. There's another one that people love. Well, maybe out here. Maybe you don't know about it, but yeah, because I was like, wait, what?
This series featured not only Gabrielle Union but Jessica Alba. They played partners. It was originally
I watched that show. I watched it.
It was called Bad Girls. It was going to be called Bad Girls, but they changed the name to LA's Finest. And it says here it initially premiered on Fox. Yeah, it's a part of it. She plays Sid Burnett. Gosh. Yeah, I remember hearing about it, but when it was made, but I didn't have Spectrum Cable, so I couldn't watch it at the time. But yeah, that is there is officially a Bad Boy cinematic universe. Did not realize that at the time. So correction made.
Like there should be. All's right with the world.
Yes. I mean, John Sally was in it. John Sally's character from Bad Boys 4, he was in that show apparently, according to Wikipedia. So, damn. R.I.P.
Oh, man.
Man.
Yeah, we missed you on those Bad Boys reviews, Chris. I mean, as you were jet setting Japan, we felt bad about that. We're like, oh man, we wish Chris was here. But
indeed. So. All right, man.
Anything else, Chris? Anything? Because this is it, right? This is it. This is the last episode of Gundam for 2024, right?
It sure is.
Before 2025, when it becomes Mad Max Fury Road.
You bet.
When I when I take over some football pads and a mohawk, Chris, I don't know what persona you will take over. So, bro, I don't know what you'll do either.
Armor, spike shoulder armor, and mohawk.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I'm gonna be football pads, a mohawk, and probably some like old Ford with a V8 engine, a V8 motor in it. So, bro, it's up to you at that point.
You bet.
I'll
be a war boy. I have to lose a lot of weight though.
Oh wow, okay.
A whole lot. Cool. I got to get the anorexic look and put some powder on my skin. Yes, I'm ready to go.
There you go. So, but we just want to thank everybody for a great 2024. We know there's been highlights, lowlights, but hopefully there's been a lot more highlights, which I think it has been. I mean, I will say I think 2024 has been one of our stronger years when it comes to that. We've really talked about some great things, and we joke, but we look forward to 2025. Hopefully it won't be as bad as we think it is. But, we'll go to the next thing. Chris, you got anything to say before we kind of get out of here?
I guess that's a no.
Guess that's a no. So, bro, anything for you?
No, just the sites I mentioned earlier, MAHQ.net.
Yes.
Make sure to check us out there. Also, follow us over on
Blue Sky.
On Blue Sky, of course. You guys know about that. Also, make sure to find us here on youtube.com/GundamMAHQ and hit that follow button here if you want to keep up with our future broadcasts. Also, you can watch on twitch.tv/FightersReady as well. and thank you for doing so. Other than that, at the end of the stream, when I'm closing these out, there's a little video I want to show you guys that I saw someone make a couple days ago. Someone by the name of Miss Mello. It's quite the treat. She made an anime out of Star Trek at the Trouble with Tribbles episode, and used the character designs from Mobile Suit Gundam. You'll know what you'll know it when you see it. But I'll close out with that. It's like a minute long, but you'll see it, and it's fantastic. But other than that, that's all I got, man.
Chris, you come back. Did you got anything?
I just want to thank everyone who has been listening, whether they're new listeners or longtime ones.
Definitely.
Thank you.
Yeah, and happy holidays,
definitely.
you guys,
Yeah.
and have a safe holiday season, and we'll see you guys next year.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, and you know what? Yeah, enjoy it for what it is right now.
Absolutely.
I mean, the world, you know, you can only live life to the day that you're living it. So, you know, just enjoy it, and we'll be back. And thank you for allowing us to entertain you, and you know, spread the word. And we will all make this. We'll make it through this. So, but guys, so yeah, that's it. So thank you for joining us for episode 305, or Trey 05 is what they say down in South Florida. You know, in this one we talked about the Netflix series Gundam Requiem for Vengeance, and we'll be back in 2025 with gosh, I don't know. I think we know, but we'll let you think about this during the holidays, and have a happy holidays, whatever holiday you holiday you celebrate. So, you know, and like we said, join us on all of our media outlets there. So thank you from myself, Soulbro, and Chris. We'll see you in 2025. Thank you.
Captain's log, stardate 4523.3. Deep Space Station K7 signals near or total disaster. State the nature of your emergency.
It's a tribble.
This morning I found out that he had babies.
They do indeed have one redeeming characteristic. What's that? They do not talk too much.
This is my chicken sandwich and coffee. I want these things off the ship. I don't care if it takes every man we've got. I want them off the ship.
Jim, I think I've got it. All we have to do is stop feeding them. Once we stop feeding them, they stop breeding.